In order for a great truck to be complete, it needs a great body. How do we know this is it? Stay tuned, you're going to find out. Hey everyone, it is Josh with Premier Truck Sales and Rental. Thanks again for tuning in this week. So glad you're along because we are talking about the American roll-off body on this truck. Now, as I said in the intro, you got a great truck, you got to put a great body on it. And that is exactly what we have here. When you look, you've got an 8,000 pound capacity with this. You can move whatever you need to. And part of that is we've got 1.5 by 48 inch long forks on this. These are a hard steel. There's nothing tubular about this. This is solid. That is for durability and to make sure that you're not bending, breaking, or anything like that. These are going to go in and out of thousands of different dumpsters. You want to make sure that you get the longevity out of these that you need. So one of the other great things with this is once you got the dumpster on, there are 2 ways to lock it down. We've got the tie downs here. The bar is in the toolbox there, so that way you can go to the back of the dumpster. And on top of this, there are locks up here that most dumpsters will have the peg in there that you can fit into this. Flip the lock down. Now you're not worried about your dumpster flying off as you're going down the road. Now, once you got the dumpster on here, these use a rotational setup in order to dump them. This also is rated for 8,000 pounds. So whatever you can pick up, you can spin around to dump out. That is a huge key for this. So what are some of the things that give us that 8,000 pound capacity? Well, let's move a little bit further forward. We'll talk about those. So when I said we were going to start up front, I mean we were going to start way up front. We're going to start with the transmission. It's an Allison 2500 RDS. Mentioned that in one of the other videos. Now, that gives us the ability to essentially have a live PTO, meaning if you've got the switch up, you've got hydraulic pressure, which is great. So that lets you get into tight places. It lets you move around. It lets you do things whether you're moving or not, and you don't have to worry about clutch in, clutch out, anything like that. So it's the PTO that builds the hydraulic pressure, and it gets its fluid from this 10-gallon hydraulic tank right here. Now, that hydraulic pressure is all going to come up to this 3-spool hydraulic valve up here. The nice thing about this is air over hydraulic. So the controls in the cab are air controls that control these solenoids back here. It gives you very finite, very easy control so you can ease into things without slamming them around. But it makes it also so we don't need to run anything hydraulic into the cab. And it also makes it so you don't need to come out here to try and run these items either. We want to make sure that you can stay in the cab where you're safe rather than being out here. Speaking of hydraulics on this, we've got 3.5 inch lift cylinders and we've got 4 inch tilt cylinders. Once again, we have an 8,000 pound capacity with this. We've got to make sure that we've got the hydraulics to back that up. And as you can see, this bar here even has a brace on top of it to make sure that we've got that capacity. This allows us to build this heavy duty without it necessarily being just heavy. Now, something else while we're here too is we realize in a lot of cases when you've got a dumpster on the back, sometimes that is going to hang down and make those taillights tough to see. So we've got an additional setup here with also a spot for the license plate bracket. That way, you've got that visibility that you're going to need. Another great part of the design in this is that all pivot points have Zerk fittings that face the outside of the truck. You don't need to climb up through anything, climb on top of anything. You can do the maintenance on this all while standing here on the ground. Just quick, simple Zerk fittings to attach onto in every spot. An added quick, simple touch is the safety chain back here. You got your dumpster on the back, flop that over, walk away. You know nothing's going to happen, even if there's a hydraulic failure. So when you look at this, this truly is a simple machine. There's not much to it. backs up, it picks up a dumpster, it lifts it, and can tilt it. It's not complex, but to me, that's kind of the beauty of it, because they could have stopped there, and they didn't. Like I said, you've got heat-treated forks here that, mind you, are replaceable if something should ever happen to them. You've got a heavy-duty setup that's not just heavy. It's set up to make sure that you can carry the weight that this can carry. It's those types of things and the thought that goes into that something that's even fairly simple makes a huge difference. It's that puts it on the same level as the T280 chassis, and that is why these two are put together. That being said, we've got some really exciting projects coming up too. So do me a favor, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications bell, so that way you know when the next video comes out. If you've got a question, or I'd just love to hear from you, do me a favor, put something in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, hit the thumbs up, and as always, I will see you guys soon. Stay safe out there.